Good morning, dear students. A warm welcome to all of you for our today's digital session for the subject Science and Technology Section B. As informed to you in our yesterday's session, we have completed with the portion for Section B, which is there for your upcoming assessment exam. Now, the two chapters left to be completed are from Section B. So today we take up the first chapter from section B, which is there for your assessment exam. Chapter number 18, Observing Space with the help of telescopes. Looking at the name of the chapter seems quite amazing. It is very short, sweet and very interesting, especially for the ones who are interested in exploration of the space. So the topics which we are going to cover today are, first we will get ourselves introduced to space, telescope and the types of telescopes. So let us move ahead towards the introduction. You have noticed from the earlier ages, from the early days, human beings has been curious about the sun as well as also about the moon and the stars which were seen in the night sky. Using his boundless imagination, he tried to understand the sky as observed by the naked eyes. At that time, he did not have any specific device, any particular instrument to look at all the stars, planets. So he started to imagine with whatever he could see with his eyes. And he noticed that the position of the stars, it changed with time and it had something to do with the occurrence of seasons. See how man started to link the things. As the knowledge of the cycle of seasons was necessary for agriculture, sky watching began to prove very useful to human beings. The position of constellations, it was also useful to the seagoers for navigation. During the ancient times, maximum trade were carried out through the sea. Also, the exploration of the different things of the sea, beneath the ocean, that part also was carried on. And for all these things, the position of the constellations was also taken into account. He thus began to make determined efforts to find the answers to questions which arose out of his sky watching. See, at that time, no instrument, no device, no modern technology, but whatever he could see from his observations, he started to get the things linked with each other. But really at that time there was no equipment to get a closer view of the stars and planets in the sky. Later on in the year 1608, spectacle maker and researcher Hans Lippershey, he discovered that seeing through two lenses kept one behind the other seems to bring the objects closer to us, and he thus made the first telescope. Galileo, he made a telescope in the year 1609 and used that for the space observations. So now the first instrument, you can say, which was discovered by Galileo, it was telescope. It was useful for the observation of space. What he realized? He realized that there are many more stars than what could be seen with the naked eyes. He just realized that the sky is wide. N number of stars are present. It is not only those which you can see with the eyes. And using his telescope, he also discovered the moons of the Jupiter, the black spots which were present on the sun, etc., etc. And today, 400 years after Galileo's use of the telescope, lot of progress, tremendous progress has been made in telescope technology and in space science and technology on the whole. In today's era, we have different equipments, different devices, different space stations. You have the Nehru Science Center where you can go and have different information about the space. Now, this great leap in technology has helped to construct for us an picture of our universe. Today we know about the solar system, the planets, the constellations, the different stars, and thus we know that space science and technology are not only important for research purposes but also to help provide us with many of the comforts and facilities we enjoy in our everyday life. Today, whatever sessions you are witnessing online makes use of mobile phones, your laptops, computers. So all this technology is nothing but it is only a positive output of the advancement in space science. Now a telescope, it is used to observe the space, but just imagine, will one telescope be sufficient for all of us to observe the space completely? You have different lectures, different subjects taken up by different teachers. I may have a mastery over science, but my languages can be weak. A language teacher will have full command over her subject, but maths and science will not be suitable for that teacher or sir to teach. Similarly, one type of telescope may not be able to explore the complete universe, the complete space. Then why do we need different telescopes for this purpose? Are the telescopes installed even in the space? So these different types of questions are coming up in our mind, and this chapter focuses on all the answers for all these different questions and the science behind many such type of questions. So the first topic which we are going to see after the introduction is different forms of light. From the lower standards, you have come to know that light is nothing but it is an electromagnetic wave. And as you have studied in chapter number 12, study of sound, about the wavelength. So every wave has a characteristic wavelength, and our eyes, that is human eyes, can see only that light which has wavelengths between 400 nanometer to 800 nanometer, and such light is called visible radiation. As you know, for the frequency of sound, the sound which falls in the frequency range between 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz, that sound only can be heard by you, and that is called the audible range of sound. That is 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. So similarly here, for light to be seen, it should fall in the range of 400 to 800 nanometer, and such light is called visible radiation. However, there are electromagnetic waves of wavelengths other than the visible ones, most of which we cannot see as our eyes are not sensitive to them. Now, there are different conversions which you should know. It can be asked under MCQs. 1 nanometer is equal to 10 raised to minus 9 meter, and 1 picometer is equal to 10 raised to minus 12 meters. The different types of other radiations in space: radio waves who have wavelength longer than about 20 centimeter, microwaves 0.3 mm to 20 centimeter, infrared waves 800 nm to 0.3 mm, visible light rays, UV rays, X-rays, gamma rays, etc. So just go through it, nothing will be asked on this part. Now, of all the above types, our human eyes are capable of seeing only the visible radiation, and thus we use the visible radiation telescopes, that is the optical telescopes, optics related to your eyes, made from your regular lenses or the mirrors, to see the visible radiation which is coming from the space. And apart from that, many other heavenly bodies, they emit radiations other than the visible light, and for that purpose we need different types of telescopes like the X-ray, gamma ray, radio telescopes to receive such radiation and to study their sources. So our first question is answered over here. One question had come in our mind: why do we need different telescopes for the purpose? So different types of heavenly bodies, they emit different types of radiations, and to study about them different types of telescopes are required. Now we are going to study about the first type of telescope, optical telescope. Optical telescope. Optical, I have told you in the beginning, related to eye, optics. Now most optical telescopes, they are made with two or more lenses, as you can see in the given figure here. Two lenses are there. To collect the maximum amount of light coming from an heavenly object, the objective lens, it should be made as large as possible. This is the objective lens. You can see here in both the cases. Now using this light which is collected by the objective, a smaller lens which is called the eyepiece, this is the eyepiece, it produces a large image of the source. You have studied in chapter number 12 about human ear, how the outer ear or the pinna, it collects the sound from the environment. Similarly here, the maximum amount of light which is coming from a heavenly object, this objective lens, it should be made as large as possible. Now this light rays, they change their direction as they enter a lens from the atmosphere, and again when they enter the atmosphere after passing through the lens. It is a property of light. Next year in the 10th standard you are going to study an entire chapter on refraction of light. What is refraction? In short, I will tell you. Light rays, they change their direction when they travel, when they move from one transparent medium to other transparent medium. This is called refraction of light. So here also you can see the light rays from the environment, they are entering the lens from the atmosphere. So atmosphere is the first transparent medium. From the atmosphere they are entering lens which is made up of glass, which is again a transparent medium. So light rays are changing their direction, and this is called as refraction, and hence such telescopes are also called as refracting telescopes. So the first telescope which we have studied is optical telescope, which makes use of an objective and an eyepiece. Even though such a telescope is useful for space observations, there are many difficulties in its use. Let us see what are the difficulties and how they can be verified, how they are corrected. So the very first difficulty is very difficult to make very large lenses. As I have told you in the telescope above, if we wish to obtain a bright image of a source by collecting the maximum possible light from it, then the objective lens which collects the light from the heavenly object, it must be made as large as possible, and then if it is made as large as possible, then it becomes very difficult to make such type of lenses. Also, large lenses are very heavy and tend to get distorted. They are made up of glass. So to store them, to make such big lenses is the main difficulty in using the above optical telescope. Next is, you can see that the objective and the eyepiece, they are placed at the opposite ends of the telescope. Hence, the length of the telescope also increases with the increase in the size of the lenses, and then telescope becomes difficult to manage. Very large, very long telescopes, it will be very difficult to manage these telescopes. And the third one is the images which are formed by the lenses, they have errors of colors which is known as chromatic aberration. A new term for you, Now, you can use the above telescopes for space observations, but a lot of difficulties, as we have seen here, are there. To overcome these difficulties, telescopes, they are made using concave mirrors. So look at the change. In place of lenses, the scientists now came ahead by replacing lenses with concave mirrors. I don't have to tell you anything about the concave mirrors. You have studied in chapter number 11, reflection of light. Now, as the light rays, they get reflected by the mirrors in this telescopes, they are called as reflecting telescopes. So, after the failure or the difficulties faced by refracting telescopes, the next to come ahead are reflecting telescopes. See the difference in the terms, refracting, and here they are reflecting telescopes, which makes use of concave mirrors. Now, in order to get a bright image of a source, large mirrors are necessary. So, instead of large lenses, large mirrors are necessary, but it is easier to make large mirrors as compared to making large lenses. You had seen the difficulty that making large lenses was a difficulty which is overcome by making use of concave mirrors, because concave mirrors are easier to be prepared. Also, big mirrors can be made by combining several smaller pieces. The weight of a large mirror is also less than that of a lens of the same size. So, see the advantages of making use of concave mirrors. The images which are formed by the mirrors, they do not have errors of color which are observed in the case of lenses. Only by using this large telescopes, we can see faraway stars, galaxies, which we could have never seen with the help of our naked eyes. So the two types of reflecting telescopes which we are going to study in this chapter, one is the Newtonian telescope and the second one is Cassegrain telescope. We are going to study both of them in details along with their respective diagrams. So let us move towards the first type of reflecting telescope, Newtonian telescope. This is the setup of the Newtonian telescope. As you can see in the figure which is placed on the slide, the rays which are coming from the space, they are reflected by the concave mirror. This is the concave mirror. The light rays which are coming from the space, they are reflected by concave mirror. This is the light source. They are reflected. Before this reflected rays converge at the focus, they are deflected again by a small plane mirror. You can see here, before they converge, they are deflected by a small plane mirror, and as a result, they get focused at a point lying on the perpendicular to the axis of the telescope's cylinder. Then they pass through the eyepiece. You can see the eyepiece at this end, and then we get a magnified image of the source. This way the Newtonian telescope, it works. It makes uses of a concave mirror, a plane mirror, and then an eyepiece which enables us to get the magnified image of the source. Let us see the next one, that is Cassegrain telescope. So about the Newtonian telescope, reflection of light rays by concave mirror. Then both these reflected rays converge at the focus. They are deflected again by a small plane mirror. Then they get focused at a point lying on the perpendicular to the axis of the telescope's cylinder, which pass through the eyepiece, and we get a magnified image of the source. The next one, you can see here I have placed a photograph of Newtonian telescope which is taken from the Google Net. Now the next type of reflecting telescope which we have to study is Cassegrain telescope. This is the setup of Cassegrain telescope. The Cassegrain telescope, it also makes use of a concave mirror. You can see here a concave mirror which is placed. However, Here the light rays after reflection from the concave mirror, they are reflected back towards it by a small convex mirror. Concave mirror, convex mirror. What are both these types of mirrors? You have studied in details in chapter number 11. They pass through a hole at the center of the concave mirror, and then through the eyepiece, which is situated at the back side of the mirror, and then this eyepiece gives us a magnified image of the source. So let us see what a Cassegrain telescope is made up of. First, it uses a concave mirror, the same as it is used in Newtonian telescope. Light rays after reflection from the concave mirror, they are reflected back by a small convex mirror. So apart from concave mirror, a convex mirror is also required. Then they pass through the hole at the center of the concave mirror through the eyepiece situated at the back of the mirror, which gives us the magnified image of the source. So what is the major difference between Newtonian and telescope? Newtonian makes use of a concave mirror, a plane mirror, an eyepiece, whereas Cassegrain telescope, it makes use of concave mirror, convex mirror and an eyepiece. After studying both the types of telescopes, we will just have a short introduction about the next type of telescope after the optical telescope, radio telescope. What do we mean by a radio telescope? Before going ahead, this is just a diagrammatic view of Cassegrain telescope taken from the Google Net. Radio telescope. Now you know many heavenly bodies, they emit radio waves in addition to the visible radiation. We had seen in the beginning of the chapter the different types of radiations, radio waves, microwaves, infrared waves. So different types of radio waves are emitted and which are not possible to be seen with the help of our eyes, and hence a special type of telescope is used to receive this rays, which is called a radio telescope. So after optical telescope, the next we are going to study is the radio telescope. It is made from one or more dishes. You can see here an image of radio telescope of a particular parabolic shape geometry. As in optical telescope, the incident radio waves, they are reflected by these dishes. You can see these dishes and converge at the focus. A radio receiver is placed at the focal point. The information which is gathered by this receiver, it is passed on to a computer which analyzes it and constructs an image of the source. So this is the functioning of radio telescope. A very good example, a very large radio telescope which we are going to see is Giant Meter Wave Radio Telescope or GMRT. You can see the image of GMRT. It is a pride for India to have such a type of giant meter wave radio telescope which is erected at Narayangaon near Pune. This image is of the same telescope which is taken from the net. Now this makes use of radio waves having wavelengths of about a meter coming from planets and stars when you have to study about that heavenly objects. It is actually a collection of 30 dishes, each having a diameter of 45 meters. You might be wondering why it is named as GMRT or Giant Meter Wave Radio Giant. So let us see why it is given the name. It is called a giant telescope as the arrangement of the 30 dishes over an area which measures up to 25 km across is made in such a way that it works as a single dish having a diameter of about 25 km. So what does this mean? It means that the GMRT, it gives the same data that we would have got from a telescope having a single dish of 25 kilometers diameter. Hence it is known as giant telescope, giant meter wave radio telescope. It has been made by Indian scientists And that's why I told you we should be very proud to have such a large telescope erected in India, especially in Pune in Maharashtra. And it is not only made by the Indian scientists, but it is made by the scientists, engineers of India at a very minimum cost. It is a world standard research facility. Really, you can say a feather in the cap for India. Scientists, what they do with the help of this GMRT? They study about the solar system, the solar winds, pulsars, supernova, interstellar hydrogen clouds, etc. with the help of this GMRT. What do you mean by pulsar? A star that cannot be seen but that sends out fast regular radio signals. Or what you can say about supernova. What is supernova? A supernova is nothing but a star that suddenly becomes, you can say, much brighter because it is exploding. That is supernova. What do you mean by solar winds? You should know the meaning of all these things. Continuous flow of charged particles from the space. They are known as the solar winds. So, to study, to get the information about the solar system, about the pulsars, about the supernova, scientists make use of this GMRT, and really it is a big achievement for a nation like India, a nation which we are a part of. With this, we complete with the first topic of this chapter, telescopes and the types of telescopes, that is optical telescopes and radio telescope. In our next session, we are going to study more about the telescopes which are placed in space. Then we are going to study about the Indian Space Research Organization or ISRO and about the ASTROSAT. The chapter will get over very soon in the next lecture because it is a very short chapter. So if time remains, I will start with the discussion of textual exercise. Hence, I will request all of you to attend the next session after reading the topics from the textbook which are left out and going through the textual exercise. At least the objectives, try to get the answers and then attend the next session. At the same time, the portion for section A is over long before your exam or the assessment is going to start. So your responsibility of completion of the notebook should be carried out in a very planned manner. Take your own time. Sundays are there, weekends are there. See to it that the notebook is completed along with everything, numericals, diagrams, additional questions, because assessment exam, I have told you, is a ladder for your coming 10th standard board exams in the next year. You are now in the 9th standard, but you are preparing, you all are getting yourselves prepared for the next year 10th standard. So each and every exam, take it in a very serious manner. Thank you, dear children.